The most dangerous thing you can do when your life is on fire is to try and put it out all at once. There's a way to be completely right about where you're going and still destroy everything on the way there. And most people only learn that after it's too late. If point A is where we are and point B is where we dream of being, it seems fairly obvious that the only way to bridge that gap is movement. We have to change. It makes sense, doesn't it? We all know the Einstein quote. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So logic dictates that to get a different result, to get to that shiny future, we must stop doing the same thing immediately. We treat the future we want like a jailbreak from who we currently are. But there is a silent passenger in your car. I will tell you who he is in a moment, but just know that he is terrified of your driving, and if you hit the gas too hard, he will grab the steering wheel and crash you into a wall. I've been reading the 48 Laws of Power. I'm at Law 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. To me, and perhaps to you, this is not intuitive. If the house is rotting, why paint over it? Why not tear it down? But let's imagine a scenario. Imagine I showed up at your door tonight. I tell you to pack your things. I tell you that tomorrow we are leaving for an unknown land. Now assume for a moment that your life right now isn't miserable. It's just okay. But this journey to the unknown land carries a risk. It might be better or it might be terrible. Your reaction is likely going to be hesitation. You might ask, do I have to? Can't you pick someone else? This is where that silent passenger comes in. We can think of him as our evolutionary shadow. For thousands of years, change didn't mean self-improvement, it meant danger. A storm on the horizon was change, and it meant death. A rustle in the bushes was change, and it meant a predator. We are biologically wired to view the status quo as safe and the new as a threat. That sounds wrong for a reason. We want the montage. We want the instant transformation. But the 45th law warns us that those who start revolutions rarely live to benefit from them. Why? Because the backlash is always proportional to the speed of the change. There is a story told again and again in history about a ruler who tried to modernize his country overnight. He changed how people dressed, how they spoke, how the army functioned, how the laws were written. He was right about nearly all of it. The reforms were objectively improvements, but he ruled alone, died resented, and the moment he was gone, the country snapped back to what it had been. He didn't fail because he was wrong. He failed because he moved faster than the people could follow. So, how do we apply this if we worship change? How do we reconcile the need for a jailbreak with the need for safety? We might have to become smugglers. Think of your transformation not as an invasion, but as a Trojan horse. You preach the need for change. You talk about the new values, the new goals, but you wrap them in the comfortable skin of the old ways. If you want to change your workplace, you don't say everything we do is wrong. You say we are going to do what we've always done, just a little more efficiently. You cloak the revolution in the familiar. You let that silent passenger in your car think you are just driving to the grocery store while you are actually crossing the border state by state. This is why gradual change has such a strange advantage. It does not announce itself as danger. It masquerades as continuity. It feels like the same road, just slightly adjusted. And that illusion, whether we like it or not, is often what allows people to keep walking. It creates a strange paradox. To move effectively from A to B, we might need to pretend we are still at A, even as we inch toward B. I mentioned earlier that there is an exception to this law. The only time you don't need this subterfuge is when you are already traveling in a perfectly straight line, doing everything right, just counting the seconds until arrival. But as we know, that is rarely the case. We are usually off-road. So we have to cultivate a double vision. We must see the future we want, that jailbreak from our current reality, but we must also respect the gravity of the present. One form of insanity may be doing the same thing and expecting different results, but perhaps there is another form of insanity, doing something drastically different and expecting the world to go along with it. So respect the fear of the unknown land, build it one brick at a time, using the rubble of the old one so nobody gets suspicious. Walk so calmly, carrying them with you so that the people watching don't even realize the house is gone until you are already safe in the unknown land.